repeat business. Getting people to come back and buy from you again is really cool for two reasons. One, they spend more. Two, if they're coming back to buy from you again, then clearly you're doing something very right. And if you're doing that, they will actually tell their friends and accomplices and associates and all their mates about it, which increases your opportunity of getting their friends to buy from you. In fact, they are a free marketing team. You want a free marketing team, trust me. Good value. Now, let's get going. There we go. Okay, customer loyalty. Now, what we're going to talk about is four things, really, in a variety of ways. It's doing more, exceeding expectations, winning their hearts, and the fact that it's not about the money. Right? When it comes to business, to all of your competitors, you're much of a muchness. Okay, everybody does a good product, everybody gives good service, but that's the bare minimum. People expect that, it's their right, and they really don't talk about it that much. They'll talk about it if you give rubbish service or if your product is rubbish. Guarantee you they will talk about that. But the thing you want them talking about is the fact that you are exceptional, that you exceeded their expectations. Okay, that they enjoyed the experience, that it was something different, and that when you've got a problem they can solve, they're going to go back to you every time. All right, you've won their heart. We're not going to talk for 90 minutes. We'll talk for about 45. This is actually a 2-hour workshop that's been squeezed into a 1-hour webinar with a bit of time for chat. Now, it's not about the money. This is going to be a collection of tactics and a way of approaching business that is simply habits. It's simply the way you go about doing business every day. It's not about spending $10,000 on a new CRM and another $20,000 on a marketing campaign. Okay, if you want to do that, go your hardest by all means. That actually works in terms of bringing in new business. This is about getting people who currently do business with you to do it again, about making their first interaction something special. There are two things that I will talk about where you can spend a couple of dollars, a couple or a few, depending on what you want to do. But by and large, it's all about how you do business, okay? And as much as all the marketing campaigns in the world will bring people in the door, if you don't have the fundamentals right, if you don't have the way you do business right, they won't come back, in which case your acquisition cost is higher than it should be. Now, today's theme, be a penguin in a duck pond. Look, if you look around at your competitors, look at business today, pond full of ducks. Everybody is more or less the same, offering more or less the same product in their space. You want to be the penguin. You want to stand out. Look, he's a happy little penguin. Look at him. What a cheerful little penguin. You know why he's happy? Because he's different, and he's different for the right reasons, and people come back and buy from him again. Why wouldn't you be happy? Okay, so that's really the underlying theme, is that you want to be different for all the right reasons. You want to be better for all the right reasons. Now, why would your customers talk about you? When look at your business, look at what it is that you do, and ask yourself honestly, why would they talk about you in a positive way? Okay, don't be vanilla. Don't be the same as everybody else. Don't be afraid to stand out, because vanilla is an ice cream flavor. Right? It's milkshakes. It's with respect to vanilla, it's pretty bland. Like it's an excellent flavor. Okay, provide something extraordinary. Stand out. It's the way you talk with your customers, the way you greet them. Okay, and these all apply online as much as they do in bricks and mortar, face to face. Okay, you think about your online interactions with your customers. How do you interact with them online? Your staff uniforms. What does your website look like? Your layout. How easy is it to do business with you? When people walk in the door, is it a nice, simple, natural process, the buying journey? When they go to your online store, is it easy to navigate? Is the checkout process simple? Is it an enjoyable experience? Would they want to come back? Client education. This is overlooked because people are afraid of sharing their secrets, by and large. You think about it. How much client education do you provide? In terms of your industry, are you the go-to person for answers? Okay, you're after sales support. When somebody makes a big purchase from you, and a purchase that to them is important, how much after sales support do you how you do business? Okay, it's not about spending money. It's having the courage to make little changes over time that stick. Right? Now, the thing that will make that easy, the thing that will provide the motivator and the glue to make those changes stick, is understanding the business you're in. Okay, and as an example, there's one of our clients actually who's not even a kilometre from my house. Okay, hairdressing salon, booked out like crazy, sells product like the add-on stuff crazy. Will have an assignment because she has such a clientele coming through that they're doing that. And the reason that happened is that she understood the business she was in, and her staff understand the business they're in. And it's not about cutting hair, about making the curls curlier, about the colors they put in. It's about the fact that when their clients walk out the door, they feel like $1 million. Like they raise their self-esteem. And once she figured that out, okay, we sat down there and I think it was about half an hour of a cup of coffee, and we went, well, hang on, now really, it's all about how your clients feel. Okay, and obviously you want them to look good, but it's about how they feel about how they look. A little bit, we go, well, it's all about self-esteem. Like, we're not the smartest guys in the room. We figured that out quickly. And every customer feel and making them feel like $1 million when they walk out the door. Okay, once they did that, like they couldn't desert. Like, they were doing okay, you know, all right, nothing special. But now, like, they're booked out months in advance. It's ridiculous. Okay, and it's good. They're happy. Okay, it works, and that's the thing. It is a happy workplace. I'll talk a bit about that later because that is actually key. That is very important. But anyway, coming back to this little topic, understanding the business you're in. It is fundamental core of everything you do. Your marketing, the way you reward your staff, the way you do business. Right? It's got to be the core. It's key to everything. Okay? And that we value our customers. Okay, really, they're so hard and expensive to get that once you've got them, value them. Remember little things about them. Okay, milestones, something that shows to them that you actually do care about it. It's genuine. The value the esteem you hold them and the value you give them is genuine. Because, and I'll probably quote you the studies one day on this thing, but there are a number of studies out there that show 70% of customers don't come back because they feel undervalued. That is a huge opportunity for two reasons. One, that's your 70%. Okay, so if you value them, you're going to keep 70% of your customers. They're not going to leave. Two, that 70% is 70% of your competitors' customers. Okay, so there's a market there for the taking. If you just value your customer, and and word spreads around. Long-term value, huge opportunity to build long-term value, which is what today's all about. Okay, and if you haven't got a CRM, get one. Okay, it can be just a small freemium version of HubSpot or of ClickUp or whatever. Okay, there are a million of them out there, but get one and use it to track your client's milestones, if nothing else, so that you can just touch base, handwritten card, which I'll talk about later, something that sticks in their mind that shows you actually do care about them. It's not a sales opportunity. It's just saying, guys, we appreciate you and we noticed this was happening. Hope you have a great day. Okay, simple stuff, really simple stuff. And this is why. Now, Seth Godin has, you know, he's starting to kind of repeat himself a bit. He's a bit of a guru when it comes to actually pointing out the blindingly obvious and we overlook and the things that really matter. And this is one of them. People don't buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. And it's true. Like they're not walking into your shop to buy a purple left-handed widget. They're walking to your shop because you solve their problems. The relationship they have with you is something different. There's some magic in your shop. Okay, it's something about us. They come to you to solve the problem. Right? They can get the widget anywhere. Okay, you're not the only seller of widgets. Right? Nobody's unique in this world in a business sense. It's the relationship they have with your account. So build that. Now, important events. We're just talking about that. Handwritten card, a quick phone call, a small gift. It doesn't have to be $1 million to spend on them, but it's a personal touch that counts. Okay. We live in a very electronic and personal world when it comes to this table. You think about it from your side of the table as a client of all the people who you buy off. Now, they more or less will know some of the things that are special that are going on in your life. A handwritten note in the mail is a pretty awesome, unique. Nobody sends handwritten notes. Even the ones I get from the real estate agents asking to sell my house are pre-printed signatures. There's no ink on that. There's no handwritten pen on that. Handwritten notes are special. It shows you've made the effort to reach out, that it is a genuine attempt to show them that you value them. So remember them, okay? And first access to new product lines. We'll talk about that a bit later, but keep that in mind. That's a pretty cool thing that works with a number of my clients. And product knowledge, right? Now, This is key to clients' trust. Okay? Now, people do business with people. They don't do business with a computer, but they do business with people they trust. If you want your customers to really trust you, educate, share your knowledge with them, bring them into the club. Okay, be inclusive. Right? And when you're educating them, it's not what your product's made of. It's not the actual shade of purple paint on your left-handed widget. It's how it solves their problem, because that's why they're there. One stick. Okay. Oh, hang on. One step. One little thing. If you're in business, you're there to solve a problem. Okay. You know, if you're not there to solve a problem, what you've got's a job. All right. So it's problem solving. Keep that in mind for later. Problem solving. All right. Don't assume they know everything about the product that you're supplying to them, or the service that you're supplying. Explain to them how it's going to solve their problem and make their world better. Don't assume they know nothing, but just communicate in a way that's nice and open, invites interaction, and make sure that when they walk out the door with the solution, that they can implement it and that it works properly. Okay, you do that, and just take that extra minute, and your clients will be delighted. Like, really, it's something that most businesses don't do. You want them to advocate for you. You want them to tell their friends about the service they got from you in a positive way. You want them to spread the message about how good your business is and how good you are. This is key. Share your knowledge, educate them, so when they implement the solution, it's done right. There's no dramas. You fix any issues they may possibly have had. You answer all their questions. Happy days. Okay. And this is how simple questioning when you're talking with them. Okay, to make sure they understand how to implement the solution. All right. And educational material. Keep it simple. Video, if you want to provide general information, I'm not just talking about, the client walks in the door. I'm talking about general information that promotes your business in a way that isn't salesy. Right? I'll talk about this again in a sec. You want to do that, video is king. Right? That's no secret. I'm not exactly revealing the source of all wisdom right there. It's been known for a while. Video is king. So use your channels. YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. I don't care what you use, provided you use the channel customers use. If your target market is 14-year-olds, probably LinkedIn's not for you, maybe TikTok, okay, Insta, all right? Educate them, all right? Keep it simple. Now, the educational videos are a great sales tool despite the fact that you're not selling anything. I'll tell you why. My client of mine polishes floors for a living. Lovely guy, great business, all right, great business. We were talking at a breakfast, 18 months ago now, almost, beginning of last year. It was actually right before lockdown, the first lockdown in, what's that, must have been March. And we were talking about video, and he loved the idea, but he said, look, I'm just an ordinary bloke. I've got, I'm very shy. How's it going to work? I said, well, mate, it's easy. In fact, you're perfect. You are perfect, because there's nothing false about you. It's not going to be scripted. There's not going to be any polish. It's not going to be take 32. It'll be one take. Trust me, you'll do it in one take. And all you need to do is a before and after. Here's the floors. Talk about the tree it's made out of. Talk about machines. Maybe a quick 10 seconds of you actually pushing the machine around, and then another 15 seconds of here's the finished product and the material you use to finish it off with your Estapols, two-packy things, varnishes, whatever. Okay. Keep it simple, before and after. He did that, and he went from 5-ish days, 5.5, 6 days a week, solid. He did it on a couple of floors. People just gone, holy moly, look at the result. I love it. And then he kind of blew his business up a little bit, because he did a video on a new machine he bought from Italy. It's dustless. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about floor polishing and floor sanding, I think of lots of dust in the air, having to cover the furniture, open the windows. No way. This thing has got a powerful vacuum in it. It's got a butte bag, sucks the dust up. And all he did was, here's my new machine from Italy. It's probably over-engineered, cost a bomb, but watch this work. And then it's had the video showing him in action. Cross, backwards, forwards, diagonals. There's no dust. You could actually see there was no dust. Amazing. He went to 7 days a week after that video. He was booked out months in advance. In fact, he stopped doing video because he actually wanted to get a holiday in there somewhere. Ridiculous. Kept it simple, kept it real, and didn't sell. Just educated his clients and said, hi, this is what I do. This is how I do it. Isn't it pretty? End discussion. Amazing. Best sales video ever with no sales effort. Fantastic. Now, and this is one of the reasons it works, is that you're there to solve their problem. We spoke about that earlier, okay? The reason those videos worked is that he wasn't selling to anybody, okay? you're educating people, right? You don't want to oversell it. And when it comes to the actual sales process, don't oversell. In fact, upsell, I hate it. Okay, I've seen it blow up so many times. Number of teams I've worked with in businesses I've had, I've said to the guys, hey, listen, team, yay, boys and girls, no upsell. Right? No. People come in, they've got a problem. Right? Great. Talk with them. Draw the problem out. Make sure that you know what the problem is and they understand that you know what the problem is. Okay. They understand that you understand, that they understand that you understand, and then solve the problem. If in all of that conversation you discover another problem that we can solve, excellent. Solve that problem as well. But for goodness sake, if you've got a solution, don't sell them the solution with pinstripes and power windows if they don't need pinstripes and power windows. Okay. Don't chase the extra dollars. We're looking at long-term value. We're looking at people who walk in the door, have a fantastic experience, walk out the door knowing they've got their problem solved. They haven't been oversold and ripped off, because they'll back away from that and they'll tell everybody about that. So don't do that. That it's been done in a fantastic way, and they'll tell their friends, and their friends will come back and we will make more money. And here's the trick. Repeat buyers buy 74% more than their first transaction. So hang on. They cost less to acquire, they spend more, and you're going to put in place some strategies that cost you nothing to implement to get people costing less than spending more. Okay, I've heard of worse plans. Now, this is one of the keys. Let's come back one step, solving their problems. Here's one of the keys. And again, the same team I had in that business, a lot of them were young, and it's like, guys, don't be judgy, right? Try to use a word they'd understand. Don't prejudge them. When they walk in, I don't care if they're black brindle, left-handed, if they've got no hair, if they smell, if they don't smell, what religion. I mean, none of that matters. It really doesn't matter. Unless they walk in carrying a gun, I don't care. Okay? What I do care about is their problems. Okay, and what you guys should care about is their problems. So when they walk in and your instant reaction is, oh my God, look at that person, chill, count to three, and then the questioning process starts. Okay, how are you going? Figure out what the problem is, make sure they understand that you know what the problem is, that you've understood them, and then solve the problem. There's so many examples, and I've done it myself. You prejudge somebody, and before you know it, the sale's gone. You've missed the opportunity because you're just too quick on the trigger, judging who they were. Chill, breathe, away you go. Okay, and again, this is not rocket surgery. This is not something I've suddenly invented last week. This is an old school trick. It's an old school tactic, and it works because the other side of the coin really, really doesn't work. And this is why. Okay, now Mary Kay Ash, I don't know if you know of Mary Kay Ash, massive cosmetics business in the States. This is why she's big. Right? Treat everybody like they want to feel important. Like, make them feel important. You do that and you win. Right? You win. It's just a simple. It's a truism. It's a bit cliche. The reason it's a truism is that it's true. Now, follow up. Now, we all know in the sales process that follow-up's key. If you don't follow the prospects up, if you don't have a sales funnel that keeps you in touch with the client, they drop out. But the real money is post-sale follow-up, particularly if you're dealing in big ticket or significant, emotionally significant purchases. You follow up post-sale. You make sure that your solution to their problem has solved the problem. And if it hasn't quite solved it, that you sort the issues out. You do that and you've got a friend for life. Okay, you want that customer coming back. You provide that sort of service and they will talk about you, which means they'll tell their friends. So when their friends have that problem, they'll come to you. When they have that problem again, they'll come to you. When they've got a problem they think you can fix, they'll come to you because you cared enough to follow up to make sure the solution solved the issue. Simple stuff. Blindingly obvious, but not many people do it. Don't know. Follow up. Key. Key. You want to stand out. Like, if you really want to stand out, if you want to be that penguin, just do this one thing. I guarantee you, vast majority of your competitors don't do it. And here's the other thing that, again, young team had to train them. Guys, if we haven't got the answer, just say so. There is no shame, there's no pain in not having the solution to every problem. Okay, just say, sorry guys, we can't fix that. I really don't know how we can solve that problem here. We don't have the products, we don't have the service, but we might have a solution somewhere else with somebody else we know. Slot them in that way. Again, you do that instead of just kicking them out the door and saying can't help you, or even worse, selling them something which doesn't fix the problem, both of which will backfire on you, and you know that. You help them out, and you've gone the extra mile. Guarantee you that your competitors don't do that. Guarantee you. You do that, you stand out. Okay, we're standing out. We're standing out for the right reasons. We are the penguin. If we're the penguin, then we're the happy penguin, which means people are coming back to us because they think maybe this time we can solve the problem. Or they tell their friends that, hey, listen, look at these guys, they couldn't fix it, but they put me onto somebody who did. How good are they? So when their friends have got a problem they think maybe you can fix, they'll go and see you. Customer acquisition at no cost. It actually doesn't get any better than that. Now, oops, on me. We're back. Hey, I spoke about this a bit earlier in terms of giving clients access to new product lines, first access to new product lines. Now, this is somewhere where you might want to spend a few dollars. Okay, it's not necessarily a once a week thing, unless you've got cash flow, but just events where you're basically rewarding the customers for being customers. Okay, VIP events. It can be a wine and cheese, it can be a barbecue, it can be a very simple presentation on the night. These are not sales events. Okay, for goodness sakes, please don't make these sales events. Right? They are an education event. Right? Bring in somebody from industry to talk about something new. Bring in somebody from industry to talk about something you've got on the shelves anyway to explain how it works better. Okay. Again, client education, remember that? This is a way of doing it where they're going to listen because it's not you, their mate on the other side of the counter talking to them. It's an expert from out of town. And so they'll actually pay attention. I know it's bizarre. The person coming in will tell them exactly what you would have told them. I've been in that situation so many times. I don't even get bored now. I just bring in somebody else to tell them what I was going to tell them anyway, and they listen to the other person because that person is new. Have a crack at it. It really works. Now, one thing when you're sending out invitations for these events, I would suggest that your follow-up is follow-up by text, not SMS. If you want engagement, SMS. Okay. Yes, Facebook Messenger works. Insta Messenger works. They all work to some extent. Email runs a distant 10th because we get so many emails these days that they get overlooked and ignored. Send a text. It will work every time. Okay. You can borrow that slide if you like, but that's the core. We love our customers. You've got to love them. You've got to value them. Even the ones that drive you mad, love them because they have friends you want to come back and spend. Now, consistency. Now, systems and processes I spoke a lot about 2 days ago when it came to the business mindset. And I also spoke about it yesterday when it came to cash flow management. And I'm going to speak to about today when it comes to client management, because systems and processes are your foundations to business success. There is not one successful business that does not have at its core systems and processes for how it does business. Okay, and those systems and processes are based on what works really well, with notes as to what you don't do because it works not really well at all. Okay, identify what works. Pick out the habits, and often it's not you who comes up with these systems, okay, or the process that generates that superior customer experience. It's your frontline staff, okay, somebody in your team who goes, hey, hang on, this worked really well. Cool, write it down, record it, make it a process so you can repeat that consistently. So every time the customers come in, they get that excellent experience. If they're getting that excellent experience, guess what happens? They tell their mates about it because you're standing out, because nobody does that. And their mates go, hang on, I've got a problem this person can solve. They come to you first because you've been recommended by somebody they trust, which means they can probably trust you, and people do business with people they trust. All right? Systems and processes, they are key to everything you do. Now, emotions matter. Business is all about the numbers, okay? I will not disagree with that one little bit, but if you don't get the emotions right, you're not going to generate any numbers at all. Okay, and the biggest emotion is how the client feels when they walk in the door, closely followed by how they feel when they walk out the door. Okay, and again, online, face-to-face doesn't matter. It's the same experience. Okay, work out how you want them to feel. Okay, if you don't know, just ask them. Okay, they will tell you. They'll give you feedback. Work it out and then implement it. Okay, see what you have to do to generate those emotions, because then they'll tell their friends and they'll come back. Right, the whole point of it. Get that interaction right. Now, feedback. We were talking about the emotions a second ago, customer engagement a second ago. you put in place a feedback mechanism. Now, Google reviews are kind of cool because they're free, they're there, everybody uses them. Check on the fake ones with Google. There are companies like Removify that'll kill the fake ones for you if Google won't do it. Put in place a feedback process. Somebody leaves a review. If it's a good review, hi, you have a standard, thank you very much, love doing business with you type response. Work out what works for you and do it every time. You get a negative review. Cool, great opportunity. Solve the problem in one hit. If you can't solve the problem, tell them why it can't be solved, but at least engage professionally, politely, and then disengage. The review system is not an opportunity for a 3-week-long debate. Okay, if you go down that rabbit hole, you will lose every time. You cannot win with that. It doesn't work that way. So engage, solve the issue as best you can, and then disengage. Right? Now, there are systems like Trustpilot and Yotpo that generate a review response. Okay, they'll basically get in touch with the client and ask them to provide reviews, and they'll be provided in a format that you're looking for to answer the questions you want answered, that will then analyze and assess the experience you've provided them. Okay, it's not random, it's very structured. It is much more valuable than a random Google review that simply punches out whatever they felt on at the time. Check them out, see if you want to implement them. They're not free, but they may be worth it for you. Okay, at least investigate the scenario. Now, just remember, with people's ideas, and that's not just with this approach with their reviews, it's with asking them what they feel face to face, with everything. When they come up with suggestions, you don't have to implement their suggestions. Okay, sometimes you can't. It might be financially impossible, it might be physically impossible, it may be unethical. It doesn't matter. Just thank them for the idea and acknowledge that it's the engagement that counts. Okay. Now, I was speaking about video earlier about keeping it simple, keeping it real. It's because simple is plan A. Right? Very complex world that we're in at the moment. Super tech, getting more complex by the day. So simple is gold. Okay. Simplicity is incredibly valuable. So think about the way you communicate with your clients, with your educational material, with a simple interaction through your website. If you want market leadership, look at iPhone. iPhone is an enormous amount of incredibly complex devices in one device, which it's pretty much complex, but gosh, it has a simple interface, doesn't it? When it came out, it took all that complexity and made it very simple. Now, that gave them market leadership. And ever since then, people have been trying to catch up, copy, do better than iPhone. Even when there are more Android phones in the world than iPhones or the iOS system, they're still chasing the advances that iPhone come out with and trying to be a better iPhone. Okay. Simplicity is gold. Okay. Now, it's do what you can take out of your material. Can you get rid of jargon? Can you make it easy to understand from the customer's viewpoint? Or do you have to put something in to make it simpler? And that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but I'll give you an example of that. Recently, I bought some new studio lights for the studio, which I clearly am not in at the moment, which is at home. And there's an instruction booklet. Now, I kid you not, okay? Samsung phone, sorry iPhone. The instruction booklet was a piece of paper smaller than this. It would have been maybe a third the size, printed on both sides with, I think it was 3 panels of instructions, a couple of pictures and some random words. None of it made sense. The pictures did not look like the bits that were in the box for these lights, and the lights were in many, many pieces, I can assure you. Now, I'm not an idiot. I might not be the smartest guy in the room, but I'm not an idiot. My wife is smarter than I am, and we put together tech stuff all the time. And we looked at this and looked at the instructions and just went, you are kidding. 10 minutes later, we put these two lights together by simply almost like trial and error, trying to figure out how they went together, because the instruction booklet was absolutely useless. Now, when people ask me about lights, and I've taken them to a few places to do some stuff, and people say, oh, they're really cool. Yeah, they're cool, provided you can put them together. And we talk about the buying experience and the whole construction experience. And I kind of recommend the lights because they're great lights. But I said, listen, you buy them, there's a caveat. You need basically a mechanical engineering degree to put them together when they come out of the box. Right? Now, it didn't have to be that way. It could have been much simpler, better instructions, but no. And we gave some feedback to the light guys, haven't heard back from them. Ridiculous. So that's, another reason why I'm kind of reluctant to advise people or to recommend these lights, because the whole experience is just not there. Okay, it could be a lot better. Now, know when to stop talking. bit hard for me right now. We've got some stuff to go through, but I got this a lot, particularly as a kid, when it came to explaining what's going on. And even in business, okay, I've lost sales because I simply wouldn't shut up about how great the solution was to the problem. And that's because I get genuinely excited about solving people's problems, okay, in business and providing solutions and helping them out, and making things better, blah, 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 blah. I can go on forever about that. And I have to actually sometimes physically stop myself talking. 70-30 rule, okay? 30% talk, 70% listen. Just one tip, if you get one thing out of today, it's this, is that the 30% is not right at the start. Split it up. Talk a bit at the start, and then let the client go. Let them explain everything that's going on, and then another 15% at the end where you make sure they know that you understand what their problem is and that you have the solution, okay? One mouth, two ears. My goodness, I got a lot of that as a kid. That's the ratio you should use them in, all right? And just use open-ended questions and then shut up and let them talk, okay? Why is this happening? What's happening? Give it to me in detail. Can you explain what's going on here? And then let them talk. And then, oh, okay, so what you're saying is this, and then paraphrase it back to them, and then solve the problem, because that's really what we're all here for, okay? Now, complaints. Spoke about it a bit earlier with your review system. In Australia, again, some pretty cool research. 4% of customers will complain to your face. The rest will go online when they complain. Right? Now, two things. One, the ones who complain face-to-face, huge opportunity, because they're outside their comfort zone. Even the, I hesitate to use the word, even the Karens of the world, okay? They are outside their comfort zone, and they are really peeved, and they're going to the effort of complaining face-to-face. Respect that, okay? They are outside their comfort zone. Ask them what they think the solution might be, all right? Work through it with them, and then fix the problem. Don't justify what's happened. For goodness sake, don't do that. You will not win. Even when you're right, you're wrong. Don't go down there. Fix the problem as quickly as you can. If you can't fix it, tell them why it can't be fixed, and come up with some sort of alternative solution. The other ones who complain online, we've already got a process for that. Roll with that. Now, one thing with those face-to-face complaints, empower your staff. Team I had, the same young team as before. I got a lot of training lessons out of these guys. I love them to death for that. They would come to me with problems or complaints pretty much every day because they had to. They couldn't solve, even if they knew the answer, they didn't think they could implement the solution. And after about a month of this, I'm sitting there thinking, like, my time is getting eaten up by little things that really, it's teething problems in the business, and that's fine. Some of it's client issues because, they're just doing things wrong. And some of it's our staff issues. So let's do some training on the staff, and let's give the staff some power to fix the problems at the counter. Okay, they've got the solutions. Let's build a sandbox. And I said, listen, guys, I sat down with them one day. I said, guys, here's your sandbox. You can play with them when it comes to problem solutions. You can spend this much money if you have to in terms of client refunds or giving them another product or whatever. Okay, there's your budget. Okay, please stay within those parameters. Okay, you can approve these sort of changes to stuff without any dramas. You do not have to refer to me. You can just do it, sign off on it, because here it is in writing. I'll back you every day of the week. Right? If it's outside the sandbox, then you come to me. 90% of my problems disappeared. And it wasn't just the fact that 90% of my problems went away because they fixed them at the counter. It was the fact that I had happier staff who made less mistakes. They had some power, and we had happier clients because instead of going to complain about something and getting told, oh, you'll have to see the manager, or wait, I'll have to find the manager, he's not here, they were fixed by the person they were speaking to as they were speaking to them. Now that, I didn't really think about that at the time, to be honest, but that's enormously powerful. My goodness, we had some happy people out of that. Now, that actually cost me some money. I'll put that down the bottom. It might cost a bit. Well, it did. It cost me some money, but I'll tell you what, it cost me a lot less money than the cost of unhappy clients telling all and sundry how useless we were. Right? And we actually got a few extra sales out of it, so the cost wasn't as much as it could have been. Right? And I had happier staff. We had less mistakes. It was just, I look back at that and go, that was actually one of the really cool things I did in business. All right, it works. Now, memorable customer service. We've been talking about this all the way through, but I thought I'd give it its own slide because it is that important. Okay, just to reinforce, you have to provide that memorable experience every time. Okay, because people forget good service. It's a right, it's what they expect, so it doesn't register with them. You do something memorable. You make that experience truly brilliant, and they'll remember it, and they'll tell their friends, and they'll come back and they'll spend money. And it's kind of what we're here, isn't it? Like, that's the whole point of the exercise. Okay, We're talking about stronger relationships, long-term clients, okay? And when it's that good, they will talk to you and you'll find other problems of theirs you can solve, okay? I've actually talked about this on the way through. When you're communicating with your clients, whether it's solving their problems or they've got a complaint or just general information about the solutions you provide, make sure they understand that you understand, okay? It's just paraphrasing. Like it's a simple communication technique. I just put it on its own slide because it's actually that important. Okay, it is a key communication technique. If you're not already doing it, do it. If you are already doing it, beauty, river. Okay, one of the easiest ways you can show clients you value them. It truly is. When you make sure that they understand that you understand, they feel validated. It works. Now, here's the key thing. Well, one of the key things. But you've got to remember this, is that no one actually cares about your product or service. Your purple left-handed widget, so what? Doesn't matter. It's purple. Who cares? Left-handed, yeah, whatever. I can get a left-handed widget next door. The thing that matters is what it does for them. It's the problem it solves. Okay, that's what's interesting. So when you're speaking with a client, remember that you're talking about how your purple left-handed widget rocks their world. That's the focus of the conversation, not the fact that the purple is the latest shade of purple from Italy. Don't do that. It's how it solves their problem. We're all here to solve problems. That's the whole purpose of our existence. So that's what we're talking about. Now, humor. I mentioned a little bit earlier about happy people. Humor. I have a pretty substantial collection of the world's worst dad jokes. You ask any of my friends, any of my business colleagues, you ask my customers and my clients, they will assure you, you even ask my wife's friends, the ones that still speak to me, they will assure you that my jokes are the worst. Okay, I'm not going to roll any of them out here now because, quite frankly, this recording is going all over Australia, and I've got enough people who laugh at me now without making the bigger list. But it's a way of breaking the ice, building relationships, gives people a story to share. You might not have really bad dad jokes, but you will have a sense of humor. Everybody does. Don't be afraid to share it, okay? Because it'll make you stand out for the right reasons, okay? It's a pretty serious world we live in, okay? Hello, COVID, anybody? Bring some humor to your clients' lives, okay? Make the interaction with you something a bit special, and you've got the happy dancing penguin again because people are happy. Now, I'm going to skip forward a few because there's another side to this on the other side of the counter. Oh, where are we? Oh, I've lost it. Oh my goodness. No, no, no. Okay, it'll turn up. It'll turn up. Okay. Client education, when we're talking about the products, don't forget to talk about why you're different. And this will tie into one of the next slides, is that don't be afraid to share your secret sauce. Don't be afraid to be the go-to industry expert, because by bringing your clients, giving your clients knowledge, bringing them into the club, you're building and strengthening that relationship. Human nature is such that we want to belong to something. Everybody wants to belong to something. Cool. Excellent. Take advantage of that. Give them a club they can belong to by educating them, by telling them some of the secrets of your business about why you're special, why your products are special, why you solve their problems. Okay? It's inclusiveness, guys. Don't be afraid to share. Okay? And when you do that, they'll advocate for your business. They'll go out and tell their friends about it. They just do. It works. Okay? First access, we mentioned this before, so I'm going to keep going. Oh, sorry, one thing. Last thing on that slide, no strings workshops. Okay? This access is educational. It is not a sales thing. Do not get salesy, make it educational, and they will buy. It is the best sales tool you've got. Okay? They will feel valued. And even if they don't buy on the day, which is not the point of the exercise, they will buy down the track. And again, they will tell their friends, which is what you want them doing. You want that free marketing department out there working for you. Okay, provide the education and it will happen. Now, speaking about interactions, as we were previously, the way you answer the phone. Now, not a lot of people ring up these days. Most of the communication is electronic, and when you do ring, you run into an IVR and you get press this button, press that button. Eventually, you wind up with a human. When you wind up with a human, that interaction counts because that's effectively their first real interaction with you. Chatbots. If you're using a chatbot, same principles apply. Make it different. Make it a happy chatbot. Smile when you're answering the phone. Make it enthusiastic. Have a great tagline. Don't use my tagline, which was NASA Mission Control. Are you off course yet? that was kind of funny for about the first 3 minutes. Don't do that. Okay. It's your first point of contact, human contact with your client. Don't make it memorable in a really positive way. And again, there goes, you just up your chances of people talking about you in a good way and building that advocacy. Okay. Handwritten notes, again, just reinforcing the fact that it's an personal world. So those handwritten notes add value. It's something competitors don't do. It's not a massive expense. Second thing I thought you might spend a few dollars on adds value immensely. Okay, it's a small investment, the return is huge. And again, you really will put a smile on your customer's face. Instead of getting a bill in the mail, they've got a note from you. Like, who does that? Really? You do it. And that way you stand out. Right? Your network. Remember earlier I was talking about the fact that just solve the problem. If you can't, say so and see if you can find a solution elsewhere. This is where your network kicks into play. All right. You want to have a framework around that. You want to have an agreed set of protocols in terms of how you refer your people on and how you get feedback about the transaction. Because if something goes right, you want to know about it. If something goes wrong, you want to know about it before your client comes back to you and gets up you for sending you to somebody who couldn't fix their problem. Okay. Now I do that. In fact, a lot of the people I do business with do this. Small black book, only a couple of people in each category. I don't have 52 solicitors I'll send you to. I'll send you to 2 or 3, depending on what your problem is, that sort of thing. Build it. It's a way of adding value. It's a way of showing clients you value them. And again, advocacy, that good transactional history, that nice interaction, the way that you're actually solving a problem for them without actually personally providing the solution. Okay. Now, be genuine. Funnily enough, what you're seeing here in the video is what I'm pretty much like in person. It's what I like when I deal with my clients. It's what I'm like when I deal with my family and my friends. I don't have a game face. I really don't do the whole business persona thing because I found out pretty quickly on it doesn't work. Okay, you can do that once or twice or 20 times, but sooner or later, you're not going to be able to repeat it. And sooner rather than later, people will see straight through it. They'll realize they're not dealing with a real you, and that just takes the edge off the transaction, right? So be yourself, okay? Be genuine. Go easy on the jargon, okay? If people are new to your business, if they don't really understand where they're at, the jargon will just confuse them and it will actually belittle them a little bit. Okay, it's counterproductive. So just let your personality loose. Okay, people want to deal with real people. They want to deal with people they trust, and if you're being yourself, they will trust you more. Now, part of that and part of the whole secret sauce discussion is explaining why cheap has the price. I was actually speaking with a client yesterday who is in the food business, for want of a better word, in various ways, and they have a competitor who beats them on price from time to time. And we both agreed there's no way we are going down that rabbit hole, because once you head down that hole, it's very hard to come back out again. So what we do is we have a campaign that explains why his products are better. And yes, they cost more, but this is why they cost more. Okay. We also bundle some things up. So you might put 2 products out the door at full price, but I'll get a third one at half price. So they're getting a bit of a bargain, but pardon me, at half price, at least it's washing its face. It's not costing any money, but it's helping sell the other 2 at full price, which is all about cash flow. And as we all know, cash is king. And because we've gone to the effort of explaining why the products are worth that, we have the sales. Okay. With respect, unless you're selling fuel, don't build your product or your business around price. There is no long-term value in that. It is simply too hard as a small business to build long-term value around commoditizing yourself like that. And as I was saying, discounting, expensive, right? It's a very hard way to build a business. Bundling can work, but at least you're getting some product out at full whack, okay? One risk with discounting, if you do it periodically, is that you change people's buying habits and they'll buy when you discount, which smashes your margins. Oops, sorry. Okay. Loyalty programs are cool. Okay. It's kind of a discount, kind of a bundle, but it's down the track and it's after a number of purchases. So you've got the cash flow coming through and it's rewarding loyalty, which is what we want. We want that repeat purchase. Okay. But discounting, it's not a way to build sustainable long-term client relationships. Now, sorry, changing habits is tough. Very true. It's why I said at the start, I'm saying it here again, understand why you're in business. Okay, what is your brand? What do you stand for? What do you want to be known for? And make it the focus of everything you do. But if you do that, it makes it easier to put in place these good habits, okay, and to break the old ones. if you understand why you're doing it and it's in front of you every day, it's much easier to stop doing the stuff that doesn't work and start doing the stuff that does. And your team have that structure and process to work within them, so it's simple, easy to understand. Okay. Spoke about this before. Industry expert, be the go-to person. Don't be afraid to do that. Share the knowledge. Okay. Bring people into the club. Make it inclusive. Okay. Because as I said before, and I will say again, and people keep telling you, people do business with people they trust. If they trust you, they'll come back. If they don't trust you, gosh, they won't come back. Okay? Now, that's me. I have a funny feeling I've actually missed a slide in there. Oh, there we go. I did too quick. Sorry about that. This is what I was looking for before when it comes to humour in the workplace. How do you pay the bills? Now, everything I've listed there, all those bullet points are basically my summary of a stack of research I've read on happy workplaces and productive workplaces and profitable workplaces. Okay, I'll rattle them off. More productive. They're not afraid to make mistakes. I'm going to tell you this from personal experience with my teams. When I did this, when we actually started having a bit more happiness in the place, they made less mistakes. And that started with me giving them some power to fix errors and issues rather than having them run to me all the time. They felt valued. They made less mistakes. So we had less complaints and they weren't afraid to make mistakes, but they were making less anyway. It's really weird, but that's the way it worked. And sick leave went down. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm reading this research and I'm thinking about my experience in businesses where I've had big teams. I'm going, oh yeah, I remember that. That's actually true. That actually worked. They learn faster. Yeah, okay. I'll take the word for that on research because my guys learn at the pace they learned at. Okay, but it was just such a better workplace. It was so much more productive, and we were making so much more money out of stuff that we were doing anyway because there was less drama, less everything. It was just brilliant. So think about ways you can make your workplace happy. And even if you're a team of one, actually, particularly if you're a team of one, find your happy place in the workplace because it will pay off, right? Not kidding you, happy pays. Okay, now, and not only pays on your side of the counter, but on the other side of the counter, clients walk into the business, they're talking to you, and the place is happy. Look, like we said before, it's a tough life. Okay, it's complex. There's a lot of things going wrong, and they walk into your business, and everybody's happy. It's like, what? They'll remember you. Penguin, duck pond. You're the happy business. Believe me, you're the penguin. Okay, and you're the penguin for the right reasons. It's all about being the penguin for the right reasons. They'll remember you and they'll come back the next time they want to problem solve because my goodness, doing business with you is fun. It's a nice place to do business. You solve the problems, you're cheerful about it. Wow, it's different. Okay, being different for the right reasons. Now, there's my contact details. Thanks to Business Station and to RDA in Brisbane for bringing this to you. AusIndustry Australia for funding this whole program. Check out the Business Station website. We have got a ton of advisors, a stack of webinars, there's workshops, face-to-face. I've just come out of a face-to-face now, actually, before this webinar with one of our startups down here on the Gold Coast. See you in the future. Thank you very much.